Time now for Money, Power, Politics. Time to get scared. Next week, the House Intelligence Committee will take its first shot at digging into the phenomenon known as deepfakes. These are bogus videos designed to look just like the real thing. This isn't just fake news. It could be much, much worse. It's becoming easier and easier for people to access the software and the basic skills needed to make fake videos of anyone saying almost anything. That includes celebrities, foreign leaders, political candidates, you at home, and even the president. Felix Salmon, chief financial correspondent for Axios, is with us, and Ben Collins, the Duke of the Dark Web, who covers technology for us here at NBC. Ben, how would you characterize the threat of these deepfakes for us, basic media consumers?
Sure, it's very scary, mostly politically, because you can create a narrative overnight that just frankly is not true. That's going to, I would bet in the October of 2020 that we're going to have a pretty bad event because you have months and months to make these things, make them pitch perfect. And by the time somebody debunks it and says this is not real, it's going to be kind of a nightmare for us as a democracy.
We know the campaigns don't have their heads around this. They probably don't have the money. But the House Intel Committee next week is probably going to be the first from a legislative standpoint to look into the impact of these deep fakes. As far as the government goes, is it getting its arms around the problem? Can it do something in the immediate to stop this?
There's so much finger pointing going on about this. It's absolutely hilarious. We called up at Axios, we called up the FBI, the NSA, all of the campaigns, the DNC, the RNC. They all pointed to each other. The House Intelligence Committee is at least taking something onto its plate, but it's not clear what they could do, even if they wanted to do something. There's no legislation in front of Congress or even being drafted. No one even knows what the legislation could say.
Why wouldn't Congress want to create such legislation?
Well, the big question, right now, no one really knows what the legislation would say. Or, you don't want to make, CGI movies illegal. So the question is, how do you construct legislation to outlaw deepfakes? It's non-trivial.
I hear that, but here's the issue. Yes, you've got fake videos like the one of Nancy Pelosi that the president himself passed on. Mm-hmm. But once that video is out there in the mainstream, another risk are real videos that people can suddenly say, well, that's fake too. And you and I won't even know anymore what's real.
Yeah, the existing threat is scarier than the one that's coming. Because in 2016, the things that they already did this. They just put different context around existing videos. I think there are two examples in the last couple of days that I've seen floating around the internet that prove how easy this doesn't require even video editing software. So yesterday, for example, there was a video of a fist fight going around, and this was on the top of Reddit for the Donald Trump subreddit situation. And it said, look at this Donald Trump supporter getting beat up. It wasn't a Donald Trump supporter. It was a video from 5 years ago. Doesn't matter. You can just throw random extra context on top of it, and because of virality, people will just get an idea of what reality is that just isn't true. And then there's another one this morning in the replies to the president about how he was bragging about how there were, more people in support of him than protesters. Somebody took a video of a rally from not in the UK and just said this is in the UK. So this is the larger existential threat we have here. We have an existing problem we have not dealt with, and now we have this other thing on top of it that is much scarier and much harder to find.
Because people aren't trusting us and not trusting edited media, they're trusting whatever they see on Reddit or Twitter, and there's not much you can legislate about that.
Relationships matter. You got to figure out who you can trust, and we've got to keep doing our jobs.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.